Right, so today we're talking about Stone Cold Steve Austin. As usual, we'll start with the overview of him and then get into his career in more depth and his early life and stuff like that. So Steve Austin is an American media personality, actor and retired professional wrestler. He is signed to WWE as an ambassador, widely regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestlers of all time. He was integral to the development and success of WWF during the Attitude Era and industry boom period in the late 90s and early 2000s, where wrestling reached its peak in the mainstream popularity. Austin began his professional wrestling career in 1989 after playing college football at the University of North Texas. He signed with WCW in 1991 and adopted the surname of Stunning Steve Austin, a villainous in-ring technician, and he won the WCW World Television Championship and the WCW United States Heavyweight Championship twice, each alongside one reigning double crown of the WCW World Tag Team Championship and the NWA World Tag Team Championship with Brian Pillman. After a brief stint with ECW, Austin signed with WWF, now WWE, in 1995. In WWF, Austin initially debuted his short-lived gimmick, the Ringmaster, an in-ring technician character, being packaged as a short-tempered, brash, brazen and anti-established anti-hero named Stone Cold Steve Austin, becoming most popular wrestler in the Attitude Era. Off the back of his feud with the company chairman Vince McMahon, he won the WWF Championship 6 times, the Intercontinental Championship twice, the $1 Million Championship once, and the WWF Tag Team Championship 4 times, making him the 5th WWF Triple Crown champion. He is also a record 3-time Royal Rumble winner and also won the 1996 King of the Ring. He was forced to retire from in-ring competition in 2003 after multiple knee injuries and the serious neck injury in 1997 SummerSlam event, making sporadic appearances ever since. He was inducted to the Hall of Fame for WWE in 2009 and returned for a final match against Kevin Owens at WrestleMania 38 in 2022. Right now, he hosts a podcast, The Steve Austin Show, and the video podcast Broken Skull Sessions, available on the WWE Network and Peacock. He He does stuff with Al Sen Guido Brewing on Broken Skull IPA and Broken Skull American Lager. He also hosts the reality competition series Steve Austin's Broken Skull Challenge and Straight Up Steve Austin. Since 2023, Austin has competed in desert racing with a UTV. So Steve Austin was born Steve James Anderson in 1964 in Austin, Texas. After his parents divorced, his mother moved the family to Victoria, Texas, raising Austin and his two brothers, Scott and Kevin, as a single parent. She later married Ken Williams, who adopted the children. Austin's name was legally changed to Stephen James Williams. The family eventually settled in Edna, Texas. Austin also had a third brother, Jeff, and a sister, Jennifer. He attended Edna High School, where he was a running back for the school's football team for all 4 years. Following his graduation, he attended Wharton County Junior College for 1 year, where he played a linebacker. After a successful season with the team, he was offered a full scholarship and transferred to the University of North Texas. Continued playing as a linebacker, but switched to a defensive end after a knee injury. Austin's father also played football at Rice University. Austin later reflected on his football career, stating it was a fun experience. I had dreams of being a pro footballer, but couldn't quite make the grade by a long shot on that. I was a good player at local and regional level, but beyond that, those guys had too much talent. He ultimately dropped out of college with a few credits short of graduating. Austin developed an early interest in pro wrestling, regularly watching Houston wrestling promoted by Paul Boesch. While in college, he lived near Dallas Sportorium, where WCCW held events, and legally changed his name to Steve Austin in December 2007. So early in his career, Steve Austin began his wrestling training in 1986 under Chris Adams at Dallas Sportorium, when Adams was affiliated with WCW Association. Although the training emphasised technical skills, Austin later expressed dissatisfaction with the lack of instruction on the business side of wrestling. Austin made his in-ring debut later that year in a televised WCWA match using his real name at the time, Steve Williams. During the merger of WCWA and Memphis-based CWA into the United States Wrestling Association, he began wrestling under the name Steve Austin, a change that made to avoid confusion with Dr. Death Steve Williams. He competed primarily in Dallas and when managed by Percy Pringle. During this period, one of his early storylines involved a feud with his trainer Chris Adams. Austin debuted in WCW in May of 1991. He was nicknamed Stunning Steve Austin, a name and gimmick later said he could not commit to. Austin was originally paired with valet fictitious Vic Veronica, but was later joined by Jeannie Adams, known as Lady Blossom. Just weeks after his debut, Austin defeated Bobby Eaton for his first WCW World Television Championship and later joined Paulie Dangerously's Dangerous Alliance. Austin lost the WCW Television Championship to Barry Windham in a 2 out of 3 falls match, but regained the championship from Windham the following month. He enjoyed a second lengthy reign as champion before losing the championship to Ricky Steamboat at the Clash of Champions, while the Dangerous Alliance disbanded shortly thereafter. The Hollywood Blondes we'll go into next. So Austin formed the tag team known as the Hollywood Blondes with Brian Pillman at the behest of their lead booker Dusty Rhodes. Austin will later say that he was not excited about being placed in a tag team as he was embarked for the run for the WCW United States Championship with Harley Race as his manager. Initially billed under the individual personas, Pillman decided the pair needed their own finishing move, ring gear and team name. With a travelling partner, Scott Levy proposed the Hollywood Blondes, used in the 70s by Buddy Roberts and Jerry Brown. At Halloween Havoc in October of 1992, Austin teamed with Dr. Death Steve Williams to wrestle Dusty Rhodes and Windham for the WCW and NWA World Tag Team Championships, wrestling to a 30-minute time limit draw. The Hollywood Blondes won the unified NWA and WCW World Tag Team Championships by defeating Ricky Steamboat and Shane Douglas, held the championships for 5 months. In the main event of Clash of Champions, the Blondes defended their championships against Ric Flair and Arn Anderson in a 2 out of 3 falls, where despite losing the first 2 falls, retained the championships, and the second fall had been determined by disqualification caused by Barry Windham. At Clash of Champions in August of 1993, Austin and Pillman were scheduled to defend their championships against Anderson and Paul Roma, but legitimately injured. Pillman was replaced by Stephen Regal, whom Austin lost to Anderson and Roma. At Starrcade 93, 10th anniversary in December of 1993, Austin defeated Dusty Rhodes in a 2-0 in a 2 out of 3 falls match to win the WCW United States Championship. At Clash of Champions in 1994, Austin lost the championship to Ricky Steamboat. He was scheduled to face Steamboat in a rematch at 4th of Raw 94 War Games. However, Steamboat was unable to wrestle due to a legitimate back injury. Austin was awarded the championship by forfeit. His second reign with the championship ended in just 5 minutes later when he lost Steamboat's replacement Jim Duggan in a match that lasted 35 seconds. Austin unsuccessfully challenged Duggan for the championship at both Halloween Havoc and Clash of Champions. The influence of Hulk Hogan and the Hulkamania area was beginning to take hold of WCW, with Vice President Eric Bischoff saying he was likely the reason Austin lost to Duggan, who had been a popular figure during the time period. Around this time, Austin pitched a storyline idea to Bischoff in which it would reveal that Austin was a family member of Hogan. The proposal was quickly turned down on the account that Bischoff believed that Hogan would not work with somebody such as Austin, who was not a proven name. Following Clash of Champions, Austin was inactive while rehabilitating his knee injury, returning in February 1995. In April of 1995, Austin took part in the tournament for the vacant United States Championship, defeating Jim Duggan via countout in the first round, but losing to Randy Savage in the quarterfinal. He wrestled what would be his last match with WCW on May 21st, 1995, defeating Eddie Jackie in a bout that was aired on WCW Main Event. In May and June of 1995, Austin again appeared with New Japan Pro Wrestling as part of the Fighting Spirit Legend Series. He was primarily teaming with Arn Anderson and Ron Simmons at the Superpower Group Declaration 6 event in Nippon Budokan in Tokyo. Austin Anderson and Mike Enos lost to JJ Jax and Juni Hirata in a 6-man tag match. During the NJPW tour, Austin suffered a torn tricep while rehabilitating. Austin was fired by Eric Bischoff. Bischoff did not see Austin as a marketable wrestler, and additionally thought Austin was hard to work with. Austin was then contacted by Paul Heyman of Extreme Championship Wrestling, who was previously managed him in WCW. Heyman hired him to do promos and in-ring interviews, as he had not adequately recovered from his injury, paying Austin $500, equivalent to $1,056 in 2025 a night. Changing his nickname to Superstar, Austin debuted in ECW as Gangster's Paradise on September 18th. While in ECW, Austin used a platform to develop his future Stone Cold persona, as well as a series of vignettes running down ECW in general, and Bischoff in particular. Most memorably in several promos, he mocked his then status as a Nitro host by introducing Monday Night Grill, where he was joined by Bongo in promoting the show where the big boys play each other. Several wrestlers credited ECW as the place where Austin developed his microphone skills. Austin was credited Heyman as the man who taught him how to cut a promo. Mikey Whipwreck, who was ECW World Heavyweight Championship at the time, defeated Austin in upset to retain the championship at November to Remember. At December to Dismember, Whipwreck defended the title against Austin and the Sandman in a three-way dance. Austin eliminated Whipwreck from the match by pinning him for a stun gun, but was pinned himself by Sandman after Sandman punched him using the brass knuckles. Austin joined WWE at the end of 1995 after Diesel and Jim Ross helped convince WWF owner Vince McMahon to hire him. He debuted in WWF in 1995 in December, which was broadcast on January 8th, 1996 episode of Raw, using the moniker The Ringmaster, and was awarded the $1 Million Championship by his manager Ted DiBiase. In his debut match, he defeated Matt Hardy while making his first pay-per-view appearance at the Royal Rumble. He was scripted to be among the final four wrestlers in the ring, which could have given him a push. However, the ringmaster failed to hang on to the ropes after Fatu clotheslined him over and he slipped out the ring early. Austin soon thought that the ringmaster gimmick was weak and asked for a change. He had battled thinning hair for a few years and he decided to shave his head in early 1996. He later said in the 2017 interview, after watching Pulp Fiction with Bruce Willis in it, that's the haircut that inspired him. He was travelling on the road in Pittsburgh with Dustin Rhodes. Before he went to the show, he said, "Fuck it," he went into the bathroom with the razor blade and shaved all his hair off. Then he grew out the goatee and everything came full circle. By March 11th, having thankfully missed out on the opportunity that renamed Fang McFrost, among others, his ringmaster moniker would be discarded in favour of the famous name Stone Cold Steve Austin in a match against Savio Vega. The new name promoted by his English wife at the time, Jeannie, who had told him to drink a cup of iced tea. She had a cup of tea she had made him before it went stone cold. His new persona was particularly inspired by the serial killer Richard Iceman Kaluninski. Austin wrestled Vega on Raw to a double countout before defeating him in WrestleMania. In Your House, Beware of the Dog, Austin lost the Caribbean strap match to Vega, which with the added stipulation that the WRC was forced to leave WWF as a result, leading Austin to quietly vacate the $1 million title. DiBiase would later say that nobody foresaw the success of Austin would have, and that he advised him to ignore the advice given to him by producers and continue what he was doing, as success required patience. After several months of competing in the mid-card talent, doing little to note, Austin's rise in popularity began at the 1996 King of the Ring, where he won the tournament by defeating Jake the Snake Roberts. To win would prove to be an unexpected stroke of luck, as Hunter Hearst Helmsley was originally scheduled to win the tournament, but he was legitimately punished for taking part in the curtain call incident before the tournament. At the time, Roberts was portraying a born-again Christian, which inspired Austin's ad-lib line, mocking Roberts' religious faith and proclaiming that he was now the iconic post-win coronation for kayfabe, mocking Roberts' religious faith and proclaiming a now iconic catchphrase, Austin 3:16, as derision of the Bible verse John 3:16. At the conclusion of the same promo, he further ad-libbed, and that's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. This was the first usage of the bottom line and the 3:16, which eventually would become one of the most iconic catchphrases in history of wrestling and one of the best-selling t-shirts in WWE merchandise history. Years later, Austin would say that this moment, it's like I got 2 at-bats and hit 2 grand slams. His Raw speech, which included the word ass, was an intentional scratchlish reference, sparked the gradual cultivation of his persona as a foul-mouthed, sadistic and anti-hero character. After defeating Yokozuna on the SummerSlam free-for-all pre-show, Austin would speak about Bret Hart, challenging him constantly and taunting him relentlessly. Throughout August and September, before Hart finally returned to Raw after 6 months hiatus, on October 21st, to challenge Austin in the match of Survivor Series, which he accepted. This would mark the start of the long Austin-Hart rivalry. During an episode of Superstars, an old friend, Brian Pillman, conducted an interview with Austin regarding an upcoming match. After Pillman inadvertently complimented Hart, Austin grew angry and attacked him. He then proceeded to wedge Pillman's ankle in between a steel chair and stomp on it, breaking his ankle in storyline. It would lead to an infamous Pillman's Got a Gun segment, wherein Austin broke into Pillman's house while he was nursing his injury. Pillman had been anticipating him and was armed with a pistol. Just as Austin broke in, Pillman aimed the gun at him before the episode cut to commercial break. The segment was highly controversial for its perceived violence and rare usage of profanity in the programming. Although Pillman and Vince McMahon both publicly apologised after. At Survivor Series, Austin met Hart and expected in a match to determine the number 1 contender for the WWF Championship in what would be Austin's first major pay-per-view match in his WWF career. Hart then defeated Austin by using a turnbuckle to push himself backward while locked in the $1 million dream. In that match that lasted almost half an hour, despite the loss of his status as a heel character, Austin received significant cheers from the crowd. During the 1977 Royal Rumble match, Austin was originally eliminated by Hart, but officials did not see it. He snuck back into the ring and eliminated Hart by throwing him over the ropes, winning the match. This led to the first ever pay-per-view main event of Austin's WWF career in Your House 13 Final 4, where he competed in a 4 corners elimination match against Hart, The Undertaker and Vader for the WWF Championship, which was vacant. Austin was eliminated early in the match. After injuring his knee, Hart would win the match and the championship. Hart lost the championship the next night on Raw to Psycho Sid due to Austin's interference, continuing their feud at WrestleMania 13. Hart defeated Austin in a highly acclaimed submission match with Ken Shamrock, a special referee. During the match, Austin had been cut and was bleeding profusely from his face, but he refused to tap out. when Hart locked in the sharpshooter and finally passed out from excessive blood loss, losing the match. After the match, Austin continued to hold the sharpshooter on Austin, who despite his wounds refused any assistance back to the locker room, thus turning Hart heel and Austin turning face in a rare double turn. Austin portrayed an anti-hero instead of a traditional babyface, and he didn't embrace the fans at first either. Austin's public popularity surged following WrestleMania Clash, and Austin 316 merchandise t-shirts are reported in May 1997 to have become the best-selling t-shirts since Hulkamania. Austin eventually got his revenge on Hart in the main event of In Your House 14, Revenge of the Taker, defending him in a match to determine the next contender to the Undertaker's WWF Championship. Austin won when Hart disqualified due to assistance from the British Bulldog. Now, In Your House 15, A Cold Day in Hell, Austin had the Undertaker down with Stone Cold Stunner, but was distracted by Pillman, allowing the Undertaker to recover and perform the Tombstone Pile Driver for the victory. On Raw, Austin partnered with the returning Shawn Michaels as they both much saw Emily of the Hearts. They defeated Owen Hart and the British Bulldog for the WWE Tag Team Championship. Despite being champions, they continuously argued and ultimately faced each other in a match at King of the Ring, which ended in double disqualification after both men attacked the referee. Michaels was later forced to vacate the championship due to injury. Hart and Bulldog won a tournament to face Austin and a partner of his choice, but there was refused to pick a partner and decided to face the Duke by himself. Late in the match, debuting Dude Love came out for some assistance. Austin accepted and the duo won the titles, making Austin a two-time tag team champion. Austin continued his feud with the Hart family, becoming embroiled in a heated rivalry, particularly with Owen, who pinned and distracted Austin and secured a victory for the Hart Foundation in a 10-man tag match main event in Your House 16 Canadian Stampede, where Austin was partnered with Ken Shamrock, Goldust and Legion of Doom. At SummerSlam 1997, Austin and Owen faced each other for the Intercontinental Championship on the line, with Owen adding a stipulation that Austin would have to kiss his butt if he lost. During this match, Owen botched a sit-out pile driver and dropped Austin on his head, resulting in a legitimate bruised spinal cord and a temporary paralysis for Austin. As Owen stalled by baiting the audience, Austin managed to crawl over and pin Hart using a roll-up to win the championship. A visibly injured and dazed Austin was helped to his feet by several referees and led to the back. Due to the severity of his neck injury, Austin was forced to relinquish both championships on the first ever Raw to be broadcast from Madison Square Garden. McMahon told Austin he wasn't physically cleared to compete, and after several weeks of build-up, Austin delivered his Stone Cold Stunner to McMahon, causing the fans and attendees to go ballistic. Austin was then arrested as part of the storyline and was sidelined until Survivor Series. However, in the interim, he made several appearances, one being at Bad Blood, where he is involved in the finish of the match between Owen and Farouk for the vacant Intercontinental Championship. Austin hit Farouk with the Intercontinental Championship belt, while the referee's back was turned, causing Hart to win the match and the title. Austin's motive was to keep Owen as champion, as demonstrated that he was as demonstrated when he interfered the match, Hart's matches on Raw. Austin regained the Intercontinental Championship from Hart at Survivor Series. With Owen out the way, Austin sets his sights on The Rock, who saw Austin's championship belt after Austin suffered a beating by the Nation of Domination. In the weeks to come, The Rock began declaring himself the best damn Intercontinental Champion ever. The Rock kept possession of the championship belt until D-Generation X In Your House, when Austin defeated him to retain the championship and gain the belt. As Austin had used his pickup truck to aid his victory, McMahon ordered him to defend the title against The Rock the next night at Raw. In an act of defiance, Austin forfeited the championship to The Rock before tossing the belt in the Piscataqua River. After Bret Hart's controversial departure from WCW, Austin and Michaels were the top stars in the company. Austin won the 1998 Royal Rumble, lastly eliminating The Rock. The next night on Raw, Austin interrupted Vince McMahon in his presentation of Mike Tyson, who was making a special guest appearance, over the objection that McMahon referring to Tyson as the baddest man on the planet. Austin insulted Tyson by flipping him off, which led to Tyson shoving Austin. Much to McMahon's embarrassment, he began publicly disapprove of the prospect of Austin being his champion. Tyson would later announce their special enforcer for the main event of WrestleMania and align himself with Michael's stable, DX. This led to Austin's WWF Championship match against Michaels at WrestleMania, which he won actually with the help of Tyson, who had turned on Degeneration X. Making the deciding 3 count against Michaels, and he later hit him with his knockout punch. This was Michaels' last match until 2002, as he suffered 2 legitimate herniated discs and another completely crushed at the hands of The Undertaker, the classic match at the Royal Rumble. With Michaels' absence, Austin winning the WWF Championship. The Austin era was ushered in. On Raw the following night, McMahon presented him with a new championship belt and warned Austin if he did not approve of his rebellious nature, desiring a corporate champion. Austin responded with a stone cold stunner, leading him being kayfabe arrested once again. The following week it appeared as if Austin had agreed with McMahon, appearing in a suit and tie before revealing it was a ruse and attacking McMahon. It appeared that Austin and McMahon were going to battle out their differences in an actual match, but the match was declared a no contest when Dude Love made an appearance. This led to a match between Dude Love and Austin at Unforgiven in Your House, where Austin hit McMahon with a steel chair and went to retain the title. The following month, Austin and Dude had a rematch over the Edge in Your House for the WWF Championship. Austin managed to retain the title despite McMahon acting as the self-appointed referee and his corporate stooges as timekeeper and ring announcer respectively. McMahon continued to do everything he could to throw Austin as champion, and he finally scored a big victory for his side at King of the Ring. Austin lost the WWF Championship to Kane in a first blood match after Undertaker accidentally hit him with the steel chair while the ref was incapacitated, despite Austin having knocked Kane unconscious and afforded him an early intervention by McMahon. Austin further angered McMahon by winning back the championship the next night on Raw. Austin also emerged victorious against The Undertaker at SummerSlam. In response, McMahon set up a triple threat match to break down in Your House, where The Undertaker and Kane pinned Austin at the same time. The following Monday on Raw, Austin famously rode out the ring on a Zamboni and attacked McMahon, who had decided to vacate the WWF Championship and awarded it based on the match between The Undertaker and Kane, in which Austin was the guest referee. The guest referee on Judgment Day. In Your House, Austin refused to count any of the men and attacked both towards the end of the match. McMahon would instantly fire him as a result, although Austin's got revenge by kidnapping McMahon and dragging him to the middle of the ring at gunpoint, which ended up being a toy gun and scrolled with a scroll that read "Bang 316." During the segment, McMahon also learned that Austin was later re-signed by his son Shane McMahon in the semi-finals of Survivor Series tournament to crown the new WWF champion. Austin lost to Mankind after Shane double-crossed Austin. The next night on Raw, George Mills Lane ruled The Rock had to defend his newly won WWF Championship against Austin that night, as stipulated the new contract Austin had signed 2 weeks earlier with Shane. The Undertaker interfered and hit Austin with a shovel, earning Austin a disqualification victory, meaning The Rock were made champion. At Rock Bottom in Your House, Austin defeated The Undertaker in a very light match after Kane performed a tombstone power driver on The Undertaker, which sent him into the grave. For the victory, Austin qualified for the Royal Rumble. Austin's next appearance would be on January 4th, 1999 edition of Raw, where he would come out to help Mankind defeat The Rock and become WWF champion by striking The Rock in the face with a steel chair and draping Mankind's body over him. Austin's next chance to exact revenge on McMahon came during a Royal Rumble match. On Raw, McMahon drew Austin's entry number with the intention of screwing him over. Austin drew entry number 1, while McMahon drew number 2, thanks to Commissioner Shawn Michaels. During the Royal Rumble match, Austin followed McMahon out of the ring into the backstage area, only to be ambushed by the corporation and injured. Austin was taken to the hospital. Austin, however, returned in the ambulance and re-entered the match, delivering Stone Cold Stunner to Big Boss Man and eliminating him. With the match down to Austin and McMahon, The Rock came down to the ring to distract Austin, who was eliminated by McMahon, thus McMahon winning the Royal Rumble. McMahon turned down the number 1 contender spot, and Michaels promptly awarded Austin the championship shot the next night on Raw. At St. Valentine's Day Massacre, Austin faced McMahon in a steel cage match with the championship opportunity of WrestleMania at stake. During the match, Paul White made his WWF debut, coming up from under the ring and attacking Austin, but White's attack propelled Austin to the side of the cage, forcing the cage to give way and dropping Austin to the first, making him the victor. The week before WrestleMania, Austin interrupted The Rock, Vince and Shane McMahon's interview segment by driving a beer truck to the ring and using it to spray the trio with beer. Austin defeated The Rock at WrestleMania to win his 3rd WWF Championship. Austin faced The Rock in a rematch following month at Backlash, in which Shane was the referee. During the match, Vince approached the ring only to hand Austin his Smoking School Championship belt and take Shane out of proceedings. Austin won the match when another referee made the count. Austin would lose the championship to The Undertaker Over the Edge due to events revolving around Vince McMahon, Stephanie and Linda McMahon. Made Austin the chief executive officer of the company as part of the storyline. Vince and Shane challenged Austin to a handicap ladder match at King of the Ring with the title CEO on the line, which McMahon's won. The next night on Raw, Austin challenged and defeated The Undertaker to win his 4th championship. The two would compete at First Blood match at Fully Loaded, with the stipulation that if Austin lost, he would never compete for the WWF Championship again, but if Austin won, Vince would depart the company. Austin won after interference from X-Pac. So Austin held on to the WWF Championship until SummerSlam on August 22nd, when he lost it to Mankind in a triple threat match, also featuring Triple H. In 2 months that followed, Triple H would gain possession of the title. Austin would then get his rematch at No Mercy against Triple H, but Austin lost after The Rock accidentally struck him with the sledgehammer that was meant for Triple H. The 3 were advertised triple threat match at Survivor Series, where Austin was run by a car. The segment was to write him off television with the neck injury suffered 2 years ago prior, posing as a real threat of early retirement, and he was advised to go under surgery. Austin would later describe as the worst storyline I was ever involved in. Austin made a one-off appearance at Backlash, attacking Triple H and Vince McMahon to help The Rock claim the championship. After Austin's official return at Unforgiven, Commissioner Mick Foley led an investigation to find out who ran over Austin. The court revealed to be Rikishi. At No Mercy, Austin faced Rikishi in a no-holds-bar match. During the match, Austin attempted to run Rikishi down in a truck, but was prevented from doing so by officials, and the match was deemed a no contest. Austin was subsequently arrested. During a handicap match against Rikishi and Kurt Angle, Triple H came down with an apparent intention to team Austin, only to hit Austin with a sledgehammer to reveal that he had instructed Rikishi to run him over. At Survivor Series, Triple H aimed to run Austin down again during the match, but his plot failed when Austin lifted Triple H's car with a forklift, then let it drop for 20 feet. Austin won his third Royal Rumble, last eliminating Kane in 2001. His rivalry against Triple H ended at No Way Out on February 25th in 3 stages of Hell match, with Triple H defeating Austin 2-1. With The Rock defeating Angle for the WWF Championship, Austin was again set to face him at WrestleMania X7. In weeks leading up to WrestleMania, a animosity grew between Austin and The Rock, stemming from Austin's wife Deborah, who was signed to be The Rock's manager by McMahon. The match at WrestleMania was made to a no disqualification match. During the match, McMahon came to the ring, preventing The Rock from pinning Austin on 2 separate occasions, giving Austin a steel chair. Austin then hit The Rock several times with the chair before pinning him to win the WWF Championship for the fifth time. After the match, Austin shook hands with McMahon, turning heel for the first time since 1997. During the steel cage match with The Rock in the rematch for the WWF Championship the following night, Triple H came down to the ring with a sledgehammer. After siding with The Rock, Triple H instead aligned himself with Austin and McMahon, attacking The Rock and putting him out of action. Austin further cemented his heel turn by the following Thursday on SmackDown, when, during an interview with Jim Ross about his actions at WrestleMania, he thought Ross was denouncing their friendship and then assaulted Ross. Austin and Triple H became known as the 2-man power trip. Austin altered his character considerably over the few months by becoming whiny, temperamental, prima donna. He complained incessantly whenever he felt he was not getting respect. And he also developed a strange infatuation with McMahon, going to great lengths to impress him, even going as far as to hug him and bring him presents. Austin and Triple H ran a roughshod all their opponents until the coming up against The Undertaker and Kane after defeating them for the WWF Championship. They held the tag team titles, the WWF Championship, Austin, and the Intercontinental Championship Triple H all at once. Austin and Triple H defended their WWF tag titles against Chris Benoit and Jericho. During the match, Triple H legitimately tore his quadriceps, and the team lost the match and the tag team championships in a highly acclaimed bout, with Jim Ross saying that the quartet created magic. While wrestling journalist Dave Meltzer awarded the match 4 3/4 stars out of the possible 5 in his newsletter, Austin officially broke up with the power trip on the week's SmackDown, criticising Triple H for his injury and hitting him with the sledgehammer. He continued to align himself with McMahon, began feuding with Jericho, Benoit by himself, leading to a triple threat match at King of the Ring. Despite interference from the debut Booker T, Austin retained his championship. Meanwhile, the purchase of WCW by McMahon began to bear fruit as the invasion began. Invading WCW wrestlers formed the Alliance Group, with a group of ECW wrestlers, with the group led by Shane and Stephanie McMahon. Vince called Austin out and demanded they bring the old Stone Cold back so he could officially captain a team of WWF wrestlers in a 10-man tag match at the invasion. Austin initially refused, but with the following episode of Raw War, he returned his old ways, hitting stunners on every member of the Alliance, turning face once again. At the invasion, Austin captained the WWF team consisting of himself, Angle, Jericho, The Undertaker and Kane against the WCW's Booker T, Diamond Dallas Page and ECW's Rhino, the Dudley Boys. Austin turned heel again by hitting the stunner on Angle and helping Team WCW and ECW win the match. Austin then joined the Alliance as their leader. Austin lost the WWF Championship to Angle at Unforgiven by submitting to the ankle lock, ending Austin's reign of 175 days, longest reign since 1996. He would regain the title on October episode of Raw. Then WWF Commissioner William Regal betrayed Angle and joined the Alliance. Austin began feuding with Alliance member Rob Van Dam, who was the only member of the Alliance to be cheered by fans despite the villainous tactics of the group. Austin faced Angle and Van Dam at No Mercy and retained the title by pinning Van Dam. For Survivor Series, the winner takes all 10-man tag match was announced. Austin captained the team, consisting of Angle, Shane, McMahon ran down Booker T against Team WWF, captained by The Rock. The Rock. The team also included Jericho, Kane, Undertaker and Big Show. At Survivor Series, Angle sided with WWF, helping The Rock hit a rock bottom on Austin to win the match, making the end of the Invasion story. The following night on Raw, Vince McMahon decided he was going to strip Austin of the championship and award it to Angle, before Ric Flair returned and announced that he was now co-owner of WWE. Austin returned moments later and attacked Angle and McMahon for their actions. He was then handed his championship belt by Flair, celebrated with him in the ring, turning face again. At Vengeance, a tournament was held to unify the WWF Championship and the WCW World Heavyweight Championship, held by The Rock. Also involving Angle and Jericho, Austin would defeat Angle before losing the unification match to Jericho, following interference from McMahon and Booker T. At the Royal Rumble on January 20th, 2002, Austin entered number 19 and lasted until the final four, but was eliminated by Kurt Angle. He defeated Angle to earn a shot at Chris Jericho's undisputed WWF Championship at No Way Out. In the build-up to No Way Out, McMahon had signed the New World Order, who immediately began a feud with Austin. The NWO would make their debut at No Way Out. Austin refused a big gift from the NWO, and they cost him his match against Jericho later that night. Problems were beginning to surface backstage, however, as Austin was unhappy regarding Hulk Hogan's return to WWF. He was reported refusing to lose to Hogan in a proposed match between the two at WrestleMania X8, while Hogan reportedly told McMahon the same regarding losing to Austin. In recent years, Austin claimed that he didn't want the match as he didn't want to wrestle at a slower pace, and that he didn't think we could deliver. Consequently, Austin would face and defeat Scott Hall at WrestleMania. Austin no-showed the Raw after WrestleMania and took a week-long break without the company's consent, citing exhaustion. McMahon claimed that his actions caused fury among fans who had paid to see him that night. Austin returned. The first of the new brand extension era, the show centered around which show would be signed. He would sign with, and ultimately chose Raw. Austin entered a feud with The Rock, the Undertaker, that resulted in a number one contenders match for the WWF Championship at Backlash, which Austin lost despite having his foot on the rope when he was pinned. He would later be betrayed by Big Show after being put in a tag team match with him and Ric Flair, and was betrayed by Flair himself in the following weeks. Austin then defeated Big Show and Flair in a handicap match at Judgment Day. In an interview on WWE's internet program, by this, Austin stunned the company and fans by launching a verbal attack in the direction the company was heading in, and slated the creative team for not using him the way he felt was previously did. WWE hired Eddie Guerrero for Austin to feud with, but also prepping Austin to feud with Brock Lesnar. However, Austin balked at the proposition that he would lose a King of the Ring qualifying match on Raw to Lesnar, ultimately walking out of the company. Austin later explained that he thought a hot-shotting rookie made Austin look weak. Airing that match on free television with no build-up did not give Lesnar a proper stage for such a big win over a star Austin's magnitude, further fanning flames among Austin's growing number of dictators. He was well publicised domestic dispute incident between Austin and his wife Deborah. After Austin again no-showed, his storylines were immediately dropped. Austin walked out of the company again, publicly stating that he felt underwhelming storylines presented to him by creative team. The man, along with a long-time Austin supporter and real-life friend Jim Ross, buried Austin on programming, referring to him as the lack of his balls, taking his balls and going home. Because he was not getting his way, whilst also explaining to fans that neither he nor Ross was able to persuade Austin to change his mind. McMahon insisted that Austin owed an apology to all the fans across the world, especially those who paid to see him solely. McMahon toasted Austin's career with a beer, thanking him for his hard work nonetheless. The same night, Austin's entrance theme played during an in-ring segment by Flair, but transitioned to Guerrero's theme and he entered the ring. The arena, The Rock also made an appearance on Raw that night despite being drafted to SmackDown. He announced his frustrations with Austin and threw a can of beer at McMahon. The remainder of 2002, Austin kept a low profile and did not make any public appearances. It was reported, however, by the end of the year, Austin and McMahon met and resolved the differences. He then agreed to return to the company in early 2003. In an interview with Raw magazine, he announced the deep regret of the situation that led to his departure and the manner in which he had left. A deeper regret over inaccurate speculation regarding alleged grudges held against other wrestlers, claiming he had no problem with Hall rejoining the company. However, he still had not lived up to his... he admitted he still held strong reservations about his single match with Hall at WrestleMania in the last 7 minutes, and felt that the build-up of the match did not live up to the expectations of his fans or Hall's. And he was angered by speculation and suggesting that he disagreed with Kevin Nash rejoining the company, insisting that he and Nash had always been good friends. He did, however, maintain his pledge with the storylines, create changes, and imposed around the time of his departure. In an interview with Vince McMahon on his podcast in 2014, Austin publicly revealed the first time that McMahon had fined him $650,000 upon his return, but he was able to lower the amount to $250,000. Austin confessed his major rift with Triple H's role in the company upon his return in 2002, but insisted of 2003 they resolved their issues. Also, he claimed the brief dispute with The Rock was only resolved quickly upon his return, and that none of his disputes with the talent of the roster continued or played a major part of his departure. In February, Austin returned at No Way Out on February 23rd by defeating Eric Bischoff. Austin would only wrestle one match between then and WrestleMania, another short match against Bischoff and Raw. He entered the feud with The Rock, who returned at the same time. As a small Hollywood sellout heel, The Rock was offended that WWE voted for Austin in the WWE magazine poll to him as Superstar of the Decade. He was expressed that his frustration at having never defeated Austin at WrestleMania, challenged Austin to make a match at WrestleMania. Austin was then defeated by The Rock at WrestleMania in what would be Austin's final match for 19 years. The following month, Linda McMahon brought Austin back as the co-general manager of Raw, a role that he played for the remainder of the year, often getting physical altercations with talent and personnel. Austin and Bischoff continues to feud over the control of the brand. McMahon informed Austin that he could not get physical with anyone unless provoked. At the Survivor Series, Austin handpicked the team of Booker T, Bubba Ray Dudley, Devon Dudley, Rob Van Dam, Shawn Michaels, faced Bischoff's team of Chris Jericho, Christian, Mark Henry, Randy Orton and Scott Steiner at Survivor Series. Austin's team lost after Batista interfered on behalf of Bischoff. After the match, Jonathan Coachman came out and gloated and got beat up by Austin. As a result, Austin was fired from his position as co-general manager. Mick Foley took over Austin's former role and began petitioning to have Austin reinstated. Austin returned before the end of 2003, appearing in tribute to the troops. He posed as Santa Claus before delivering Stone Cold's son to both Vince McMahon and John Cena. Austin returned on December 29th as its sheriff, giving Stone Cold's son to Bischoff and rehiring Michaels, who had just been fired by Bischoff. Austin appeared on and off as 2004 began, culminating in him becoming special guest referee for Brock Lesnar vs Goldberg match at WrestleMania XX. Following the match, Austin attacked both men with the Stone Cold Stunners. On April 3rd, 2005, Austin made his first appearance on WWE programming at the year of WrestleMania 21 when he appeared with Roddy Piper on Piper's Pit. They were interrupted by Carlito, received a Stone Cold Stunner. The segment ended with Austin and Piper celebrating with a beer until Austin gave Piper a Stone Cold Stunner. Austin involved in concluding the segment that he seen one night stand. The beer he had, in which he had a beer bash at the ECW locker room and brawled with the anti-ECW invaders led by Bischoff. He then returned to Raw Homecoming, delivering Stone Cold Stunners to Vince, Shane, Stephanie, and Linda McMahon. An angle including Jim Ross being fired led to a match in which Austin agreed to face Jonathan Coachman Taboo Tuesday, with the stipulation that Ross regaining his announcing job and had Austin won. And Austin losing his job, he had lost. Austin hurt his back before the match and could not wrestle unless he was heavily medicated. So the match was cancelled. To explain his failure to appear at Taboo Tuesday, Vince McMahon said on Raw Austin had been involved in an accident, thus preventing him from competing. Batista substituted for Austin, defeating Coachman alongside Vader and Goldust. He returned to WWE to face JBL in a drinking beer contest on an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event. Austin inducted Bret Hart into the Hall of Fame. Austin returned to WWE programming in March 2007, departed to promote his starring role in the release of the film The Commended. He inducted Jim Ross into the Hall of Fame at WrestleMania 23. Austin was a special guest referee for Bobby Lashley versus Umaga. If Lashley lost, his manager Donald Trump's head would be shaved. If Umaga lost, Vince McMahon's head would be shaved. During the match, Austin delivered a Stone Cold Stunner to Umaga. Shane McMahon and Trump. Lashley won the match. Trump and Austin and Lashley then shaved McMahon's head. Austin ended the show by hitting the Stone Cold Stunner on both Vince and Trump. He then appeared in a video on June 11th episode of Raw as part of Mixed McMahon's Appreciation Night, where he shared his thoughts on his previous feuds with McMahon. Austin appeared on an episode of Saturday Night's Main Event as a possibly illegitimate child of McMahon. He hit McMahon and Coachman with a Stone Cold Stunner before leaving. He appeared at SummerSlam to aid Matt Hardy in a battling MVP in a beer drinking contest. The match ended in no contest after Austin handed the beer to MVP and gave him a Stone Cold Stunner. Austin made another appearance at Cyber Sunday, where he was a guest referee the World Heavyweight Championship match between The Undertaker and Batista. Austin made an appearance to confront Santino Marella for criticising the Commended. The argument ended up with Mella receiving a Stone Cold Stunner from Austin, who then went to walk backstage only to return with a Budweiser beer truck, then hosed down Marella and his valet Maria with beer. Austin appeared at the Raw 15th anniversary special attacking Vince McMahon. In 2008 at Cyber Sunday, Austin was special guest referee during a match between Batista and Chris Jericho for the World Heavyweight Championship. Austin was announced to be the first member of the Hall of Fame in class 2009. He was inducted along with Tim on-screen rival Vince McMahon, who was referred to Austin as the greatest superstar of all time. During the induction, Austin said that he was officially closing the door on wrestling career and starting a new chapter in his life. He would appear at WrestleMania 25 the next night, driving ATV to the ring. Austin appeared as the guest host of Raw, moderating a contract signing between McMahon and Bret Hart for the WrestleMania match. In early 2011, Austin announced that he announced as the head trainer and host of a revival of Tough Enough. Austin interrupted contract signing, special guest referee for Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler at WrestleMania. Originally scheduled for JBL, Austin attacked JBL with a Stone Cold Stunner and signed the contract instead. Lawler won by submission. The anonymous Raw general manager reversed the decision and disqualified Lawler, claiming that Austin had overstepped his authority. Austin appeared on Raw for a night with the cast of Tough Enough, while also getting an altercation with The Miz and Alex Riley. Austin appeared to declare Andy Levine as the winner of Tough Enough. He also served as special guest referee in the evening's tag team main event, John Cena and Alex Riley against The Miz and R-Truth, hitting Miz with Stone Cold Stunner, aiding Cena. However, the anonymous Raw general manager awarded the match to The Miz and R-Truth by disqualification. Austin did not take kindly to this decision. They overturned and gave Cole a Stone Cold Stunner, which was followed by an AA by Cena. Austin and Cena closed the show with a beer Bash, Austin later appeared on a special guest general manager, as the WWE All-Stars episode of Raw, during which he destroyed the anonymous Raw general manager's laptop by running over it with an ATV. Austin was announced to cover the start of the special edition of the video game WWE 13. He began a brief verbal feud on Raw with fellow cover star CM Punk in the months leading to its release. He appeared at WrestleMania XXS with Hulk Hogan and The Rock in an opening segment. Austin made an appearance at the October 2015 episode of Raw, including The Undertaker at WrestleMania 32 event. Austin again appeared the following week where he promoted 2K16 video game in a backstage segment. At WrestleMania 32, Austin, on sign with Mick Foley and Shawn Michaels, confronted the League of Nations. Austin delivered a Stone Cold Stunner to Rusev and King Barrett while Austin was celebrating with Michaels and Foley's. The New Day tried to convince Austin to dance with him in celebration. While Austin reluctantly danced along at first, he then soon hit Xavier Woods with a Stone Cold Stunner. During the 25th episode of Raw, Austin appeared in form of Stone Cold Stunner on Shane and Vince McMahon. Austin appeared on a Raw reunion episode and raised a toast alongside Triple H, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair and various other wrestlers from the era. He made an appearance on Raw in Madison Square Garden in a contract signing between Seth Rollins and Braun Strowman, having been appearance to promote the 316 day as a holiday. He shared a beer with commentator Brian Saxon before giving a stunner. He then shared a beer with Becky Lynch and the Street Profits before giving the Street Profits a Stone Cold Stunner. So on March 7th, 2022, Kevin Owens invited Austin to special guest the KO show at WrestleMania 38 following several promos where Austin disrespected Austin's native Texas, where WrestleMania 38 would be scheduled to take place. The next day, Austin accepted the invite. At the end of WrestleMania 38 Night 1, Owens revealed that he was invited to talk to the KO show was a ruse and he actually wanted to fight Austin. He challenged Austin to a no-hold-bars match, which Austin accepted, marking his first wrestling match in over 19 years. He would go on to win after hitting Owens with a stunner. After the match, Austin gave the stunner to Owens and one to Saxton before celebrating with his brother Kevin. The match received positive reviews from critics, with Kevin Pantoja of 411 Mania and John Canton of TGR Wrestling giving the match a rating of 3.5 out of 5 and 3 out of 5 stars, respectively. Both noted that the high entertainment value of Austin's return, aside from the rating of the match itself. On night 2, after McMahon defeated Pat McAfee in an impromptu match, Austin made another appearance, giving Austin Theory a stunner. Then he began drinking beer with McMahon before hitting him with one iconic Stone Cold Stunner, paying homage to how the majority of his on-screen interactions between the two have ended for almost 25 years. Austin then toasted with McAfee and then hitting him with the stunner too. On April 20th of 2025, at night 2 of WrestleMania 41, Austin made his first appearance in 3 years and he crashed his ATV into a barricade. Since his retirement in 2003, Austin's been widely regarded as cited as one of the greatest and most influential professional wrestlers of all time. He's ranked in third of the 101 greatest wrestlers of all time list. In 2020, Sport Bible ranked Austin as the greatest wrestler of all time. And following the year of 2020, Bleacher Report also named the greatest wrestler of all time. He's described as the most influential wrestler in world history and the poster boy for the Attitude Era. Several former world champions are named as part of the Mount Rushmore of wrestling, including The Rock, The Undertaker, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair and John Cena. In 2012, poll conducted by WWE saw Austin picked as a fan-voted version of the concept. And when Vince McMahon inducted Austin to the Hall of Fame, he referred to Austin as the greatest of all time. Austin is the biggest box office draw in WWE since Hulk Hogan. His contributions in saving WWF and winning the Monday Night Wars helped the future superstars like John Cena, who would go outside to establish WWE as a global brand. He headlined WrestleMania X7, the first WrestleMania to achieve over 1 million buys. The event was universally acclaimed and is often regarded as the greatest pay-per-view in professional wrestling history. It also noted that he is a pinnacle for the Attitude Era, occurring just a week after WWF brought out their competition WCW. During his early years as a wrestler, he was a technical wrestler. However, Owen Hart accidentally injured his neck, which made him change his style to a brawler. His most famous finishing move is Stone Cold Stunner, and his credits Michael Haynes for introducing him to the move. Following his retirement, he gave permission for Owens to use it as his own finisher, but both downplayed the comparisons between the two. During this time, the ringmaster, he used the $1 Million Dream finish move since it was Ted DiBiase's finisher. His time in WCW, Austin used a stun gun and the Hollywood and Vine as his finishers. Sported a bald head and a goatee covered with the ring and tie of black vein trunks and boots. Austin relied solely on his personality to become popular. As Stone Cold Steve Austin was portrayed as on screen as an anti-authority rebel and would consistently cuss and defy company rules and guidelines by Vince McMahon. One of Austin's taunts during the Attitude was the middle finger. To complement his persona, Austin would reciprocate of two additional nicknames, commentating real-life friend Jim Ross dubbed him the Texas Rattlesnake. Due to his character's mannerisms, the motivation, the mindset, you can't trust this son of the bitch. While Austin later named himself the Bionic Redneck and accounting of the injuries that he suffered in his arms, necks and knees. Austin had said that he is eternally indebted to Ross for helping his character become popular. On both his podcasts, Austin credited Bret Hart as the wrestler who got him over the most and the most influence on his early wrestling style he had his best matches with. Austin would go on later to induct Hart into the Hall of Fame. The match between Austin and Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13 has been regarded as one of the greatest professional wrestling matches of all time, and has been voted the IGN greatest match of WrestleMania history, and was number one on tier list of the top 20 WrestleMania matches of all time. The match will later receive an inaugural Immortal Moment awarded 2025 Hall of Fame ceremony. The 12-minute match between The Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin drew 9.5 rating in 1999. It stands as the highest rated segment in war history. Stone Cold Steve Austin is still the greatest merchandise seller, earning an estimated of 3,600,000 from merchandise. The shop site, John Cena takes the number 2 spot. The Austin 316 t-shirt is the among best-selling t-shirts in wrestling history. 2001, Austin frequently shouted "what" to interrupt wrestlers who were trying to speak, and to initiate fan participation chants. Audience at WWE shows have since widely chanted this during performing promos, and Austin has expressed his surprise at the staying power of the chant, stating in a 2011 interview, "It is interesting. Austin entrance theme music composer Jim Johnston, who was composing songs. He looked at Austin's persona as kick a guy who did not enter the ring subtly, and he needed to reflect that. Looking for an unpredictable nature of the character, Johnston thought of using a car crash and smash of glass. He recalled the instantly felt the theme fit the character, and it felt like he'd already been his theme for years." Austin says that the song was inspired by Rage Against the Machine song Bulls of Parade. The theme song was revamped in 2000 with the rock band Disturbed recording a new version. Used for the first time in Unforgiven event in September, Austin reverted to the 1998 version theme song of 2001, which is still used today. Austin's theme is regarded as one of the greatest themes of all time, defined the Attitude Era. Austin played college football. Austin married his high school girlfriend Catherine Burrus on November 24th, 1990. However, later he pursued a relationship with English wrestling manager Jeannie Clark, whom he was working. His marriage to Burrus was annulled on August 7th, 1992, while he was in Japan. He married Clark on his 28th birthday. They had 2 daughters before divorcing in 1999. Austin then adopted Clark's daughter from a previous marriage with Chris Adams. In 1999, Austin recipiented of Hamilton Ontario's Key of the City. He is the two people that was bestowed with the honour. On set 2000, Austin married the wrestling manager Deborah Marshall. Marshall then called the police to the couple's home. She told officers that Austin had hit her and then stormed out the house before police arrived. An arrest warrant was issued by the Bucks County District Attorneys. Austin turned himself in the following day, at which point was charged with domestic abuse. He pleaded no contest and he was given a year's probation and $100 fine. He was ordered to carry out 80 hours of community service. In 2007, Marshall told Fox News that WWE knew of his abuse, but worked to keep it from revealing that Austin had hit her. It would cost the company millions. Austin responded to the incident in 2003 through a WWE Raw magazine, citing a regret of the relationship breaking down, stating his love for Marshall. He was also ridiculed with allegations that the incident was alcohol-related. He filed for divorce from Marshall, which was finalised on February 5th, 2003. In March 2003, during the hours leading up to WrestleMania, Austin was rushed to hospital for twitchiness and a high heart rate. He denied allegation he was an alcoholic, saying that wrestling fans mistaken his character for excessive consumption of beer for his real-life trait, and that he drinks responsibly. He was accused of assaulting a then-girlfriend, Tessa Broussard, during a dispute in the home in San Antonio, Texas. According to police report, no arrests were made and no charges were filed. In 2009, Austin married his fourth wife, Kristen. In 2014, Austin voiced his support for the same-sex marriages, and then he also released his first beer and lager. I do think Austin, by looking at this, he's obviously changed over things over the last couple of times since his marriage with Deborah. Obviously, he's done something wrong. He's only done it once after. And I think seeing that he's regretted everything. But yeah, I think as a wrestler, he's obviously made it wrestling big. He's made WWE big. He's obviously done a lot for the WWE and wrestling in general. We can hate what he's done in his past, or we can hate the way his character, but you can't deny his character work and his early technical skills. So tell me what you think of him, and if you get this far into the video.